Hey, everybody. So excited you could join us today on Faith in an Ever Changing World, Encouragement and Hope. It is my honor to be catching up with Todd O.C. Shoemaker. And the O.C. stands for Overcomer. And you will learn more about why he is such an overcomer. He is a missionary, an abolitionist, traveling prayer warrior, speaker, and author. And after our brief intro, we'll learn more about what's going on with Todd O.C. Shoemaker because he has a documentary and a new book. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
God told me I need to run 1,000 miles this year and share His Word even more than I've shared it in the last few years. I hadn't been to the doctor in probably 7 or 8 years. And they came back and said, you have several forms of crippling arthritis. Well, maybe God's preparing you for something. Maybe this was just the first part of it. So I just kept running and I kept sharing my story and sharing the gospel. I was on my way home from work. I started coughing up blood. Yeah, you have some type of tumor. It's so big, there's nothing I can do. Now we're going through another roller coaster.
You're always tempted to be upset at God when things like this happen. And the thing that keeps you from going down that mental road is Todd's faith.
The doctor had said, please get your affairs in order because he might not make it through the weekend.
I anticipated potentially losing him.
Every time we would leave town, we would say goodbye as if it was the last time.
There were days that I thought I was going to die.
Even though I saw him beginning to waste away physically, there was a spiritual tenacity and strength that was oozing from him.
I was in ICU. I was hooked up to a lot of machines. I felt God saying, you're going to walk through a journey that no doctor's going to understand, no medical expert's going to understand, but it's going to be okay because I'm always going to be there with you. So devil, you can keep on trying, but my king's going to keep on winning. Hey God, thanks for being my king.
Wow. Now you know why Todd is an overcomer. Wow, how powerful in that documentary. And now you've got a new book, I think, that you want to talk about as well. So please share with us.
Yeah, the documentaries, came out a few years ago, just for those who may have seen coming soon, but it's been out, and God's just been blessing us in such a powerful way there. I mean, people have come back into a relationship with Jesus after watching it. Some people have started a relationship with Jesus after watching it. We've had people, share that they were dealing with some kind of health issue and they watched the documentary, and then they went to the doctors, and the doctors were like, we can't find anything wrong.
Ooh, how about that?
But yeah, so because my wife and I had written a book in 2018, and it's basically kind of just our story. And it's crazy because I'd always told one of my pastors, he'd always said, Todd, you got to write a book. And I always said, Pastor, you write books. I don't write books. I said, the day Jesus tells me to write a book is the day I know I'm dying.
Yeah.
And in 2018, January of 2018, God woke me up and said, I need you to write a book. And I went into the living room and told my wife, Laura, I said, well, I'm dying. And she said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, God just told me to write a book. But we didn't know at that point how close I was to dying at that point.
Wow.
because God always hid that stuff from me, Janet. We would be at the doctor's office, and we always went out after doctor's appointments to kind of discuss what the doctors had said. And I most of the time never heard what the doctor said in the negative way. I mean, I remember in 2019, the doctor said, you got months to live. I mean, there's just nothing else to do. And I heard, well, you're just not doing well. But Laura, my wife, is like, no, the doctor said you are not going to make it through the year. And we had heard that many times before. So I think part of me was just like, old news, heard it before. But I mean, if you would have seen me then, I weighed 110 pounds, hadn't spoken in 5 years without the use of a machine, had not eaten solid foods in almost 4 years, was living off of a feeding tube, But so when the miracle happened in 2019, everybody said, write another book, to go along with the first book.
Right.
And I said, a lot of people don't read these days. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't read. So we did the documentary instead, which has been a blessing. But then last year, as you know, because you follow my Facebook page, I always put these today's a new day.
Yes.
Tomorrow. And I've been writing those for over 20 years now. And I put one on, and my publisher saw it. She goes, Todd, we got to turn this into a book. So in June of this year, this book came out. Today's a new day.
Today's a new day.
Thoughts from a Dead Man Running. And basically what it is, it's just one of my thoughts that I have. Mm-hmm. And then the second page is a opportunity for people. There's a question or a challenge there. And it's just to encourage people to tell their own stories and begin writing their own stories.
Yeah.
So, God's just blessing us there. And we've had great response from that. And people are excited to, especially men. Like I've seen a lot of men that are like, I don't really read much and I definitely don't write, but your questions are got me thinking so much that I've begun to write. So that's been
wonderful.
Blessing. It's been a huge blessing there.
Wow. God is certainly using you in different ways now.
Yeah.
And so much is happening now since we last spoke on our broadcast. So it's been great to catch up with you today. I tell you, there's something about writing your thoughts down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of just thinking something. And especially when you feel the urge from the Lord, get it down on paper, paper. So,
well, it's interesting, Janet. There's a friend of mine that has always journaled a lot and it's been part of his life for many years. Well, the day that I told him I was sick in 2002, he started journaling about my journey and just, hey, praying for Todd, this is going on, the test on.
Yeah.
And he journaled over almost 18 years,
wow.
Just, on many subjects, but always on me. Like every day, God just gave him something to write. And, so it was amazing when I got my healing back in 2019 to be able to call him up and go, hey, you can add something new to your journal today.
Yes.
Because he used to visit me every Sunday after church in the hospital when I'd be in the hospital. And he'd always go home and tell his wife, well, Todd's not getting out this time. Like he looks so terrible. I don't think he's going home.
Yeah. Like a dead man running.
Yeah. And that's basically, and that's, what, that kind of comes from, I was a marathon runner for a number of years. And
that's amazing in itself.
And not realizing a lot of that time when I was running, my body was already in the process of shutting down.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know it. I just ran through it. God gave me the strength, to be able to do that. But, the doctors always say, obviously we know how I survived all those years. We know that Jesus was with me, but the doctors always like to say, Todd, if you weren't in such good shape from running, you would have been gone a long time ago. And I always go, well, maybe that's partly true, but Jesus has got me, so, it's been amazing because people, when I say I'm a missionary, they're always like, well, where are you a missionary at? And I go, hospitals, doctors' offices.
That's right.
you know,
Yes,
uh,
wherever you are.
yeah, I have a captive audience.
Yes,
Nobody's going anywhere for a while.
that's true.
And it's, God
Oh,
has
Todd.
blessed that time to be able to just minister, not just to other patients, but to doctors and to nurses
Yes,
and to
yes.
housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that comes through, is
Yeah,
an opportunity, to just share the gospel.
that's right. That's right. Well, Todd, I appreciate you taking time to be my guest today, and it's just been a pleasure
Yeah.
talking with you again. And I'll continue to follow you on your Facebook page. But I
Okay.
would like to put up some information for
Yeah.
folks. This is the website for
Mhm.
deadmanrunningmovie.com. So we encourage you to go to this website,
Yeah.
and it'll give you more information
Mm.
about the movie and the documentary. All right. Thank you again so much, Todd.
Well,
I
thank
tell you,
you.
Todd, you are one of the most inspirational people I know.
Uh,
And I'm just so blessed to be able to call you friend, and to be able to have the opportunity to talk with you today. Thank you.
oh,
And
thank you
God
so much
bless
for
you.
having me. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And thank you all for watching. I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Spotify, and watch Faith in an Ever Changing World on Abundant TV Network. It's a great network for you and your family. And I just want to encourage you to have faith and look up, friends, where our help comes from. Bye. God bless.